My mother wouldn't like that one, but go ahead.
Hello, everyone. This is Coffee with Mildred. I'm Maria Erickson for the Cook County Historical Society. Today we are chatting with Linda Johnson, who her mother is one of the Mildreds that I have named this program after. Wanting to bring history that we used to have around the 5 o'clock and the 2 o'clock and the 10 o'clock coffee times around the kitchen table to you at your house. So, without further ado, Robert is going to put the computer in front of Linda. Linda's already giggling about all the stories that.
No, I don't do.
No. What, Linda?
No.
Yeah, just gonna
So am I supposed to introduce myself?
just
Yeah, no, you can just start. You can just start telling stories. So,
Okay.
Linda, do you recall how your family came to be in Cook County?
Well, my mom was raised in Lutzen.
Okay.
My
And
dad,
what was she originally?
her name was Leonard.
Okay.
She was raised in Lutzen, and my dad was raised here in Grand Marais. His dad, Nat, started Johnson's Grocery. My grandpa Leonard was a fisherman. He was from Sweden.
Yeah.
My grandpa Matt was from Norway, but his dad also lived here before they moved up here, I guess. Yeah, Grandpa Matt's dad already lived here. But Grandpa Leonard's family didn't. He moved in from Sweden.
Okay. So, your parents' names were Mildred and
Tumsey, Mildred and Oswald, we called him Tumsey Johnson.
I love the name Toomsy. That's what I should have named my child.
Well, my brother-in-law wanted to name his son Tumsey. My dad said, "Don't you dare," because if you go to the thing that they have, the Eula Fest,
Yeah.
Tumsey's a little wild child from Norway that gets into everybody's. Not a bad kid, but Tumsey gets into
All
little
kinds of
things that
mischief.
are not supposed to.
Yeah.
That's why Dad's sisters named him Tumsey.
But his real name was Oswald.
Yeah, but I didn't know that until I was in high school.
Really? It's kind of like Skinner. Nobody knew his real name was Brent.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
I
So,
didn't know Dad's real name until I was reading Who's Who in Minnesota, and it had Tumsey. It had Matt Johnson in there, and it had his kids, and it had Ted and Paul and O.H. Johnson. So I went home and I asked Dad who O.H. Johnson was, and Dad said he was the black sheep of the family, and they sent him out to California. I believed it for years. And then he told me to go get some money out of his wallet in the top dresser drawer, and so I opened his wallet, and there his driver's license said Oswald H. Johnson. That's how I found out Dad's real name.
oh my goodness. So, what was it like growing up in Cook County?
It was fun. You knew everybody. You could,
Did you grow up in town?
yeah. So I had a relative on every corner. So, if I was going to get in trouble, I'd go, I can't go there. Man, Mabel lives there. Can't go there. My Uncle Paul lives there. I can get in trouble in this one because Bobby Leonard lives over here.
Is it did you grow up in the house that
Becky
you
has
have
now.
now?
Yeah. My mom and dad built that house.
it's just kitty corner from the old Lutheran church
Yes.
/ playhouse, now
Yeah.
Betsy Bowen's studio?
Yeah. They had a house in the backyard, and then I thank Becky for being born because we couldn't all fit in that little house. So Mom and Dad built that house in the corner.
Okay.
So
Wow. So what did your parents do for a living then?
Dad had the grocery store,
Okay.
and Mom,
And he started the grocery store in the North Shore building?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, my grandpa started there, yeah. And then, but my mom didn't really have a paying job because she was raising her wonderful children, but she worked at the store a lot.
Yeah.
See, the truck came in on Tuesdays, we had to be down the store. And if the chickens were on sale, we had to go down and grab chickens and, we'd go down there. It was worth it.
And you guys had who all worked at the store?
Ted, Uncle Ted was the butcher.
Okay.
And then Paul, he had the produce. I mean, and then he did the bookkeeping and stuff like that, and Dad had the rest of it. That was the way we saw it, but I don't know how true that was. That Ted was the butcher. But it was worth it. I mean, we had a good time, and there wasn't, IGA, we jokingly called IGIP anyone, but I know it's International Grocers Association. But the guys at Felix Nelson that used to own it, their truck would come in and we go down and stock their shelves, and then our truck would come in and Terry come up and stock our shelves. And Dale, it wasn't.
It wasn't truly competitive.
No.
You helped each other out.
Yeah. Bud Hennessy too. If we had store orders, the lumberjacks would order, and we'd fill the groceries order for the lumberjacks. And if we didn't have it, Dad would say, run down to Bud's and get this, or run down to IG and get that,
So Bud Hennessy had a different grocery store?
Yeah, he had the one, it's not there anymore, but by the old post office, by the pharmacy,
Oh.
between Holiday and the old pharmacy.
Yeah.
And there was it's a
Where the taco
restaurant
place
right
is now?
Restaurant right now. That used to be Bud's grocery store.
Oh, I always thought that he worked at the Johnson's grocery
He
store.
did. When he shut his store down, then he came over and worked at Johnson's.
Okay. And then when did Johnson's move to the big store? Do you remember?
It was in the early 70s.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you smiling about now?
Oh, they used to have this old truck at the store.
Yeah.
And we put the garbage in behind it, and then we go up to the dump, And but then then the truck a lot of times didn't have a lot of maintenance on it. And I used to go to parties at George Humphrey's cabin, and I'd leave and I'd say, I'm driving the truck, if you find me along the way, stop and pick me up. Just and Paul kissed, he couldn't understand why the kids had to use the truck. And then guess who got picked up for no brakes on the truck but Mark. So they had to get a new truck.
Oh.
Because Mark didn't know that if you downshifted it and put in second gear, he didn't have the wisdom that I did, having an older brother touch how to drive.
Yeah.
The gears down.
So he crashed the truck?
Nobody got picked up for something. He went through a stop sign or something. And
Oh,
they said it was unsafe to drive.
Gee, I wonder why.
I don't know.
Yeah. So how old were you when you started driving?
Legally?
Illegally.
Illegal? Oh, I was pretty, well, I didn't take the car until I was about 14 or 15. I drove the car, but that my dad knew.
Oh, goodness. So your dad always worked at the grocery store?
Yeah.
And he passed away fairly young.
He was 68 when he died.
Okay.
He didn't have a long time for retirement either, but at least came to Alaska twice to see me. So
Yeah, when did you move to Alaska?
72.
And how old were you?
22 or so.
Okay. And what made you decide to do that?
My mom's sister and her husband were here in Grand Marais, and they kept saying, "Come back to Alaska and visit me." So I went up there. And 27 years later, I retired and moved home.
Oh, so there's 22 years worth of stories that we need to uncover then prior to that. Of all your shenanigans. Who's your favorite teacher in school?
Mrs. Jacobson.
And why was that? What did she teach?
English. Marion, she was always looked so prim and proper, but she's also my friend's mother. But, she, when you were in school, you were in school, but after school, we'd go to her house and she was Marion.
Oh.
But when she was in school, I always called her Mrs. Jacobson.
Yeah.
And then when I retired and I moved home and I called her Mrs. Jacobson, she goes, "Linda, you can call Marion now." I just had too much respect to call her, Marion.
Yeah.
So
But she was a good teacher.
she was very good.
So you excelled at English then.
Well, not so well, but
So who were the people that you would hang out with? Like when you started kindergarten, who were your chums then? How many people were in your class?
we had a huge class. Colleen Anderson, Dick Anderson's daughter, was a friend, and Joyce Hayscree, Donna Hayscree, and Yvonne Benson was in school then. She didn't live here then.
So you've been friends with Joyce and Colette since you were in kindergarten or before?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that explains so much. Where was the kindergarten at?
At the old grade school where the
Harbor View.
Harbor View apartments is.
Okay. And was that something that people, were consistent about going to, or at that time was it? Yeah, it's important, but if something else comes
I'm
up,
not sure about that because I know Mrs. Lindquist was my teacher, but I don't know if it was required or not. But I know that people that lived in town had kindergarten in the morning, and kids that lived out of town had it in the afternoon.
so they could take the bus there, or
Oh yeah, but I not, But then in those they also had a school in Lutzen, and they had a school in Tofty, and they had a school in Oakland. So this was town kids that because the out of town kids didn't come to school until 7th grade with us.
oh, because was there the Maple Hill School?
There's the
still at
Maple
that
Hill
time?
School, yeah, and
Okay.
there was the kids from Lutzen and Tofty, and I remember the girls from Tofty came in from Lutzen to school, to visit school in 7th grade, and they wore nylons. They were so advanced compared to those of us with our Bobby socks.
Oh my! Nylon. Well, Tofty must have been quite the metropolis at that time, or
Yeah, I don't know that much because my dad didn't have a car, but it.
so you guys pretty much just stayed in Grand Marais. You didn't do a lot of traveling when you were a kid.
No.
Did you travel anywhere?
Went to Duluth for different stuff, but that was in the days that I could. My uncle drove for North Shore Fish and Freight,
Which uncle?
Uncle Gilbert,
Okay.
and then Bobby Leonard is a cousin, and he drove for him too. But then I would ride to Duluth with them for my doctor's appointment, and they'd pick me up on the way back, and I'd ride home with them, which is illegal as all get out now. But
Yeah, but that was how you did it back then. I mean, you knew everybody,
yeah,
or were related to everybody in your case.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
I went to work at law enforcement and they were picking on somebody, and I said, I don't like you picking on my cousin's boy. And you related to him? Uh-huh. And they got picking on Nelson. And I said, I don't like you picking on my mom's family. Related to them too? And I said, uh-huh. And then they got on Bruce Johnson
Yeah.
because he took a boat out looking for a body. And I grabbed Leaf Lundy and I grabbed my shirt collar and I said, that doesn't, you can pick on the rest of the people, but don't pick on Bruce. Because I'm saying nice things about Bruce. Said the other people deserved it, but better be nice about Bruce. So
Yeah. So how many kids were in your family?
3.
3. In what order are they in?
David's the oldest. He's retired FBI agent. Me and Becky.
Okay. So Bruce was a cousin. Bruce, Mark,
Susan and Teresa.
Teresa, they were cousins.
And then Ted's family had Jim, Beth, Richard, and Ralph.
I see another story in there. What are you thinking about now?
Oh, that's just Bethy. Bethy Hannah was, was her mother, and she was kind of hard nosed about so much stuff. Bethy used to run away from home.
And where would she run to?
Well, she'd run to our house, but then she was out. Mom had a hedge around her yard, and Bethy saw Hannah coming. She'd hide in the hedge, and Hannah come in the house looking for her. Just,
Oh my. That was Hannah Johnson?
Did you know Hannah?
I did. Yep. Just from church
Yeah.
when I was a kid.
She changed as she got older. Because I remember when I came home from vacation and I got to Mom's house, and then Mom and Dad were at home, so I went by Hannah's and she said, "Come on in for coffee." And I got home and Mom says, "Where have you been?" And I said, "Having coffee with Hannah." And Dad goes, "You have coffee with Hannah?"
That was not something that she would normally do.
No. Dad, she was one person, and my dad usually liked everybody, but
Not a fan of him.
no.
Well, I remember your mom changing a lot too. Like when I was a little kid, I would wear pants to church, and I could just feel the church ladies, just giving me the eye.
Yeah.
That I was wearing pants.
Yeah.
And then in my young adult years and coming back to Bethlehem Lutheran again after being gone and whatnot, well, here they are all
I was
wearing
going to say,
pants.
here's Mildred wearing pants to church.
Yeah. Yeah, and just super warm and welcoming and relaxed. She did a lot with the quilters.
Yes, she did an awful lot with them. That was her thing on Thursday morning. She had quilting.
Yeah. It seemed like, was there any other activities your mom was involved in, or did they have the store and church?
That was basically it. But I knew she used to take in foster kids too, but she did it because they needed a place. At those days, they didn't pay you to have kids at the house. Kids are having trouble at home, they come and stay at Mom's house. So.
Oh, I didn't know that about your mom. Did she do that when you guys were growing up?
Well, not when I was gone by then, but a lot of them were Becky's friends that she took in, that my friends didn't do anything.
That's a whole other episode of Coffee with Mildred.
We sat around our table one day and we were talking, and my mother was in the kitchen doing dishes and her mouth drops open. I go, "Mom, it wasn't me, it was those kids did this." And they go, "Linda, remember the time?" I said, "Mom, that wasn't me, that was them." Mom goes, "You did that?" And I said, "Mom, that was me, I wouldn't have done that."
So what kind of, What were you expected to do as a child growing up in your household? You know,
Follow the rules and don't stay out late.
be prim and proper and get your schoolwork done and that sort of
Yeah.
thing. And then what child were you actually?
My mother said I was one that if my curfew was 10 o'clock, I would sit in the car until 10 after 10 to be late.
So you were defiant.
Yeah. But not so bad. I didn't,
You did what?
I didn't get in trouble. I, didn't.
You weren't painting graffiti everywhere.
Oh, no. Robbing banks or anything like that. That
Yeah.
was just
But what were you doing?
drinking and partying.
Huh. So was it pit parties back then, or
Most of them were George Humphrey Scabbin on Devil's Truck.
oh,
He's now had an addition to it. He's added on to the house. I haven't been there, but
so what was the drinking age, or how
18, 21.
18?
No, he had to be 21 to have for drinking.
So who was the supplier then, or did the city have the liquor store?
He had liquor store, but they had the Coast Guard then, so I worked at El Rey, so I knew a lot of the guys in the Coast Guard,
Oh, and they were older.
and they were older, so
You got connections that way.
but I didn't have to buy it because I was a girl.
Oh, right. It was a different time back then.
It really was. My sister's daughter, she goes, Auntie Linda, did you really do such and such? And I go, I don't think so. I don't remember it, but maybe I did. But see, there's a spot by encampment on the highway. My sister just got a driver's license, so my mother says don't let her drive because she didn't have the experience. So we went to Duluth, and of course she drives to Duluth, and we got by encampment, and there was a string of cars. And Becky said, "Should I pass?" And I said, "If you want to." And she did. And I didn't believe she would pass like that. She took off and she was passing all these cars. We got into Harbors to get stuff at the holiday station. She said, "I can't believe you let me drive 120 miles an hour." And I said, "I can't believe you did it." She said, "You didn't say anything." And I said, "I was too scared." She said, "Well, she didn't think she'd go that fast either." But I said, "I can't believe that you would take off and try to pass all those cars in a straight stretch like that. That at least you should make sure that there's a space between some of them so that you don't have to go the whole way."
Yeah.
She learned that now, but so Becky's daughter said, "Did you really let my mom drive 120 miles an hour?" I said, "Catherine, I didn't know she was driving that fast."
My eyes were closed.
Yeah. I was praying.
Yeah. Wow.
But she's a good sister.
She is a good sister. I would like to do an interview with the two of you together sometime.
She's up at Zag now, I think. So
Now, is it Becky that has always had the connection with SAG, or was it your family as well?
well, our family, but see, my dad didn't have a cabin. We'd go up there, but Dad didn't have many days off either. But we go up when Dad had, a long weekend or something like that, and we'd rent a place. But then Dad got a place up there after I left home. And so Becky got to go up to that cabin all the time. And then Mom and Dad bought another cabin because we didn't own the land that the cabin was on. But she bought another, Josie's had a cabin, and so Mom and Dad bought that other cabin. David owns that one now. So.
Oh, okay. So that's where the connection to SAG came in.
Mm-hmm. And then she inherited Betsy Powell's place.
Oh, geez.
She didn't know she was getting that either, so.
So the Powells, Becky spent a lot of time with the Powells, then probably not as much you.
No, yeah. And Betsy had a place at the landing too, and so when Dick would come up and stuff, he'd plow her out and do different stuff like that. And then over the years, Becky and Dick bought a little chunk of land from Betsy so that they could keep the boat motor there and put her, something there. Not a big piece of property, but they owned the land so that they could have that. And when Betsy got in the care center up in Thunder Bay, we used to go up and visit her all the time. And well, in fact, when she had her place, I would come up and get her, and we'd go to Thunder Bay. And I was kind of afraid to go through the border with her because you never know what she was going to be bringing back. Because she didn't like rules very well, so I didn't know when we go through coming back across what she was bringing back, but
Well, because I'm sure she grew up with being able to bring anything back and
Yeah.
forth. And so for there all of a sudden to be restrictions,
mm-hmm.
not go over very well with her, I imagine.
No.
Did you ever get pulled over at the border?
No.
Oh.
But I'd take her up to the bank, but I didn't go in with her or anything like that. But then I took her to the superstore up there. She had never been in there before. She was used to A&P, so she loved the superstore, going around and going through all that stuff. But I was really kind of afraid of what she was going to bring across because she was so bullheaded too. She had her own mind.
What now?
She was a character in her own right.
How describe her for us?
Betsy, did you know Betsy?
I don't know that I did.
Betsy was married to Frank Powell. But Frank used to be married to Charlotte, who was Betsy's sister.
Oh.
And Betsy's sister was Dickie Powell's mother also. Charlotte was another sister, Dorothy. There was 3 sisters. And then Frank was married to Charlotte and had 3 kids. And then Betsy had come up to help Charlotte with the kids. And lo and behold, pretty soon Betsy's living with Frank and Charlotte's living in another cabin.
Oh my. Did Betsy and Frank have any kids?
No. But we were at my mom's house one day and Frank and Betsy were there, and Betsy announced that they're going to Reno to get married or Vegas to get married, and Becky goes, "You're not married." They lived together all these years. Becky was so surprised.
Yeah.
But,
well, because it's just what you do.
Yeah. But
now, did you know Tempest?
Oh yeah. She was a sister of Frank.
Okay, that was Frank's sister.
She was married to Irv.
Did they get married?
Well, I don't know.
She had 3 kids.
Yeah.
But they weren't with her.
No, she had Betty, Minerva, and Jeanette is over here. in the care center now. Yeah, she had three children.
And who, do you know who their dads were?
Well, I hear that Betty was Skoog. Betty Skoog, she just recently died, was the daughter.
Okay.
And her dad was um, Benny Ambrose.
Oh,
And I don't know. Minerva, I don't know who her dad was. And Jeanette's dad was somebody that was working up at SAG someplace, but who knows?
yeah. And they lived way out on, was it on SAG?
Tempest?
Yeah.
Minerva? Yeah, they were, their place was right across from our cabin.
Okay.
Because I remember Becky and I were up there one time, and it was a nice day, like today. We were going to go out fishing, and Tempest comes across in her boat. She says, "Kids, don't go out in the big lake." And we said, "Why?" And she said, "The storm's coming in."
And did a storm come in?
Oh yeah. And I said, "Well, why do you say that, Tempest?" And she said, "Look at the birds." So we only went around the island, and sure enough, a storm comes right in, and we, just went right back into the cabin. But
So what did she see in the bird's behavior that was?
I don't know. But she just came across in the boat. She said, "Girls, don't go out in the big lake."
Well, I guess I would do whatever Tempest
Well,
says.
the dad said, "Listen to Tempest and Herb when they talk up at SAG. Pay attention to them." So
Yeah. What now?
those were just such good times. They were just people, it was such a different times. They couldn't understand why Betsy's house was so messy. That she was saving so much stuff, and Irv had all this stuff. Just
There seems to be um, a pattern of that for that generation. Like I remember Eve Blankenberg.
yes,
I mean, her house was packed with stuff. I mean, any newspapers, scraps of whatever.
because you never knew if you needed it.
Yeah. And which being up there, you never knew if you did need it.
Right.
If you're going to need it for heat or to build something or some sort of survival. Well, Linda, I have had a wonderful time chatting with you, and we'll have to do it again sometime. Hopefully, we can get Becky to join us.
If I can find her.
If we can get her off the SAG.
She said they go out every day and fish, just short one fish, and they have it for dinner.
Oh,
But she was like my dad. She could catch a fish,
like nothing.
like nothing. That was,
Some people have the skill.
They
I've
do.
caught one fish in my life,
oh,
other than goldfish or the little sunfish off
Uh-huh.
my grandma's porch with the leftover veggies
Uh-huh.
from dinner. One fish. That was with Bill Galley. Okay, Robert, if you want to bring me the computer.
Dad, we went up to Isle, he was up in Alaska, and he was going down fishing, and my cousin's husband told him, "People only look at what you're wearing. They don't want to see you." But they have a limit, Dad had his limit. So Dad went home, took a nap, and he was coming down to see me. He changed clothes and he started down to visit me. And he said, "This man says, oh, you bring back from one off."
Oh my.
My dad would have never got more fish.
Well, thank you for joining us
Thank
for
you.
Coffee with Mildred. Thank you, Linda. You were wonderful. If you like this, please hit the subscribe and like button and stay tuned. There's more coming. All right.
All right. Yes, so